as we have been discussing, that how the Abhiman destroys us. Abhimana with reference to this gross body, subtle body, and extension of it, Nama, Kula, Gotra, in details that we have seen. Actually, looking at Abhimana is like treating a given disease superficially. Because when we try to treat any disease superficially, it will subside for some time. And of course, later on, it will have its own impact. So we need to go to the root cause of any given disease. So what could be the root cause? Now, in these verses, we'll be seeing the root cause of all our problems that we have in our day-to-day life. Let us go to the verse. Santyanya pratibandha pumsah samsara hetavo drushta tesha nivam moolam prathama vikaro bhavantyahankara. Says beautifully, there are santihi annye pratibandha. So pratibandha means the obstacles. So there are other different type of obstacles are there for this individual, and that is the cause of samsara hetava. That is the cause of samsara, means to be the part of this sense of becoming. So when it says to be part of the sense of becoming, means is it like a whirlpool, is very difficult to come out. Very nicely said, tesham ekam eva moolam. That's the beautiful point to note. Even though there are many causes, there are different types of, let us say, obstacles, but put all these things together, their root cause is only one. And that happens to be the first prathama vikara, first modification. And what is that? That is nothing but called ahankara, the ego. That's why the word ahankara means aham karomi iti bhava. It's a very nice word itself, okay? Because in ego, if you say ego over. But when we try to look at in Sanskrit, aham karomi bhava, that means the sense of me doing. So when there is a sense of me doing, that is called ego ahankara. Not that me doing is not okay. Please understand, if me doing, absolutely no problem. Because if I don't do whatever, who else will do? But the sense of me doing. So that sense of me doing is more important than me doing. You understand? As I give the beautiful example, always this is politician's nameplate. You understand? So whether they do any project or not, that is secondary. But their nameplate has to be there during the inauguration time. So that is exactly the sense of me doing. So here he says that ahankara is the root cause of all the problem that we have in our life. So that's why what we need to understand here, one need to really understand this point is that whenever there is the sense of me doing pops up anytime, because we have discussed in details that without bhaktrutva bhavam in me, without the sense of enjoyership in me, there cannot be the sense of doership in me. Without bhaktrutvam, there is no kartrutvam. Impossible. Whether we recognize or not is secondary. Because this is the problem with many people. Without understanding or recognizing or seeing the link between bhaktrutvam and kartrutvam, everybody keeps working like a donkey. You will be shocked and surprised to know. Donkey is trained to carry the load. If the donkey does not carry the load, donkey feels uncomfortable. In fact, carrying the load itself is, entertainment or happiness or comfort, or you can say enjoyment for the donkey. That's a better word. Enjoyment for the donkey. Just observe the donkey's life. It's amazing, okay? You cannot think of how they move. And once in a while you have to be ready to get kicked, okay? That's the only problem, nothing else. And when they kick, I have observed also when they get angry, what they do, donkeys? In fact, I think today I was watching this scenery. I think today it was. Continuously, because that donkey's boss was trying to hit, master was hitting, what? Continuously started kicking, It's amazing the way the boss is okay. Then after that, psh. So only you have to be careful for that, or else life is excellent, don't worry, okay? So also we behave like a donkey, you know better. Once in a while, kick few kicks, then after that exhausted, then you are again on the track. Can you see this point? So this ahankara, aham karomi iti bhava, that sense of me doing, I am doing. So that actually takes over in me when subconsciously, with or without my knowledge sometimes, both way, consciously and subconsciously, when the sense of enjoyment is there in me. And that becomes the cause of everything. Let us read the next. Yabat swastasya sambandho ankaharena duratmana tavan nale samatrapi mukti varta vilakshana. This could have been gone in Testu Chandra, okay. Very good. Yabat syat swasya sambandha ahankarena. So that means very carefully, as long as there is relationship, I am adding it, even if slightest relationship. With what? With ahankara, with the ego. Says tabat paryantam, you can use the word. Tabat no lesamatra api mukti varta vilakshana. That long there cannot be lesamatra, even if a slightest amount of a possibility of liberation, because both of them are different. Ahankara and liberation both are different in nature. That's why if somebody says, I am liberated, I am enlightened, this enlightenment certificate. Okay, we had a fun long back. So that's is there. Okay, no, sorry, it's the right word. There was a master, because now he has been promoted to master to God. Okay, so that's the right word. There was a master. So what, he became very famous those days in Chennai, that he gave in 24 hours, he gave enlightenment certificate. You attend one course, so in after 24 hours, so you will get an enlightenment certificate. Now at least interesting, now he is giving citizen certificate. Okay, so he has promoted now, and we in Chennai we have a lot of jokes on this. Okay, let me not get into joke mode. So coming back here, we have to see very carefully that the ahankara, the ego, and the liberation, the freedom, or you can use the word happiness, both are different in nature. Generally, people think that me being ahankara means the egoist, can be more happy. That is how people live or lead their life. All sort of things happens. For example, if you do not go to the Puranas, where Ravana and other descriptions, because they are very good positive side, okay, also. If we try to look at, let us say, Hitler, even if I will name all these Britishers in colonialism, the way they destroyed different countries. Actually, if you observe them, their mentality, they had the conclusion by busing over, establishing oneself, that one will be happy. This is the notion most of the people have till now. Please understand, bussing over others, you will not be happy. You will be powerful. Being powerful and being happy, there is big difference. Can you see this point? Whenever you have power, me being powerful and me being happy are entirely different paths altogether. But unfortunately, people think that power be enjoyed is called enjoying happiness. That's not the truth, that's not the reality either. So that is what is being highlighted here. That if a person has got slightest association with ahankara, because what is the job of the ahankara? Ahankara job is to create limitations. Wherever there is ahankara, it has to create limitations. Because without creating limitations, how can the ahankara will be able to boss over? Can you see this point? That's why I brought the Britishers, because of this link. What is the Britishers' policy of government? Their way was what? Divide and rule policy. Other than that, they did not know anything. So in this divide and rule policy, nothing is completely based on the ego. So it creates definitely such a strong limitation in me. Now that becomes insecurity. And I want to overcome the sense of insecurity while gathering or acquiring power, different type of powers. It's like exactly the ahankara does what? cycling without cycling, running without running, swimming without swimming. You understand? Only you are exhausted, and at the end of the day, what you say? Nothing you have achieved. That is how the story goes about Hitler. Alexander. Even though there was nobody called Alexander, okay? In reality, there was nobody called Alexander. But they created a story called Great Alexander. That's another nuisance. Whatever the story you should see, the world, how it has moved. Like somebody said beautifully, always winner writes the history. And the way the winner presents, that becomes a history. True. Nothing can be said. In fact, that is the best example of Indian context. After so-called independence, whoever came to the power, whatever they wrote, that became called so-called Indian history. Very unfortunate. So coming to the point here, that even if this Alexander, let us say, great Alexander, whether he existed or not, secondary for us, but what the story goes, at the end of the day, what happened to him, all of us will know. So he had asked that, okay, please make sure that when the coffin is being taken in the procession, make sure that my both the hands is out of the coffin, because it's completely out of the tradition. What is this? This is what I want. This is the order of this great Alexander. Now what is the purpose? Because to communicate that great Alexander, even though he acquired anything and everything, but when he left, he could not carry nothing in his hand. It's a great message, no doubt in it. So when we look at these sort of things, can you see this point here? Now, if this sort of understanding had it come with Alexander, definitely he would not have become great also. He would have become a humble person. Please understand. Me being humble and me being great, there is a big difference. We all want to become great. How many of us we want to become humble? To become humble, please understand, we practice, there are people practice humility. You understand? I am humble. Like people practice ahimsa. You understand? Non-violence. Hey, can you practice non-violence? And the more you practice non-violence, the more you become violent. Like our fellow was practicing, you understand? Hitting his wife regularly. Poor wife could not stay with him, ran out. Because you cannot practice non-violence, it's impossible. Non-violence is the product of your understanding. Can you see this point? The more you understand, because whoever practices non-violence has to be violent. If nothing, not externally, at least will be internally violent. So what I am highlighting here is being highlighted that as long as there is a relationship, or as long as I entertain, as long as I strengthen my ego, as long as I do not pour water and take care of this ego plant, definitely that long there is no need to talk about liberation. It is just time pass. Like, long back I had seen this incident. Now I can share this point, which I think I must have shared with you all. In North India, this any temple, anywhere you go, you will see a lot of names everywhere. Because whatever they give, even if you pay little money for the steps, they will write. And I saw one fan, and that fan name is there. Like, this person so and so has donated the fan. So I was happy, so good, nothing wrong, somebody has given, good. It's an acknowledgement, I don't have any issue, okay. So it was hot, I said, why not? Please switch on, it should move. No, I said, why, is it functioning or not? Yeah, it functions, but we should not switch on. I said, why, what is wrong with it? Because if it is switched on, the name will not be visible. You understand? After that, I didn't say anything. I didn't open my mouth. Okay, I said, okay, understood. Please, no problem. We'll find out some other place. Now, because if we switch on, name will not be visible, and the fellow gives let us say charity. This is called perfect charity. Okay, this is not dhanam. Okay, the word charity is rightly applicable here only. Okay. Now tell me, is that the purpose? As this example is a very laughable thing for all of us, so also the ego and liberation. And how to know whether I am an egoist person or not, whether there is ego or not, or whether this ego plays a big role in my life or not. It's very simple. You know better. When I am not with the present, or when, if I am not able to be with the present, definitely that moment I have ego. Whenever, if I am not with the present, that's why we say, what is the behavior of a wise person? Tile tailam, jale jalam iti. At the same time, murkhe murkha. So there are two versions comes, tile tailam. So tila means in a seed. How in a seed, tailam means the oil is available but not visible. And another version also comes that in oil becomes another drop of oil. Jale jalam, in water, another drop of water. Among all the murkhas, fools, you can say here, confused people, definitely he behaves like another confused person. Bale balavatit, along with all the children, behaves like another child. Means the person does not stand out. There is no special identity either. That's why it's being highlighted that when you are being with present, that being with the present makes you to be with yourself. Whereas when you are not able to be with your present, what happens to you? You know, there is a lot of issues because either you are connected to your past or your present. So that's why here is being highlighted. Let us not talk about liberation if there is slightest link with ego. Let us look at next. Ahankar grahan muktaha. Swarupam upapadyate. Chandravat bimalah purnah. Sadanandah soyam prabha. Says, look, ahankara graha muktaha. So ahankara is like a graha. So graha means one type of bondage. So one need to be freed from one's own bondage called ahankara. Shackle is being used. Then only what happens? Swarupam upapadyate. How? He says, Chandravat iti. How Chandravat? We say beautiful. This is lot of examples are there related to Chandra. So Chandra means moon. When moon goes through eclipse, lunar eclipse, actually during lunar eclipse, moon is there, not that moon is not there. But another planet happens to be in the front, because of which we are not able to see the moon. So also here, Swarupam is there, me is there, but because Ahankara is a veil, is an avarana, that's why I am not visible to myself. Only my Ahankara, ego, is predominantly available. And of course, and who is that me? That me is what? Bimalaha. There is no malam at all. There is no impurity at all. Purnaha. Infinite. Fullness. Sadanandaha. Sada means always, Ananda means happiness. Swayam Prabha. Self-effort. So that is me. Whereas this Ahankara is what? Like lunar eclipse. All my small identifications, me being present to myself as a small entity. So that's why here very nicely is being highlighted that how this me, even though it is Vimala, free from all sort of impurities, Vigatahamala, still in spite of that I look at me as an impure person. And of course, even though I am Purnaha, but always I think I am Apurna. In fact, somebody said very nicely, I can read it. So Purna means the one who is complete, everything is, complete, fullness. Somebody came to meet me, it's a long back story. Because there are certain things, you have to be very careful while living also. Sometimes these men don't understand the emotion of women. That's the problem with men, okay? So once a couple was supposed to visit me. In fact, they are supposed to have lunch. And then they thought, before going to meet me, why not go to the temple? And they went to the temple. So they had to break a coconut. So unfortunately, while breaking the coconut, that coconut was spoiled. Spoiled coconut, that water. So this man said one line, my life is like this coconut. Why to invite this sort of problem? You understand? This is called brainless thinking. I'm sorry to say. So this fellow's mistake was, my life is like this. My life is like this. That's all. So what his wife he did? Summer, imagine it's Chennai, summer, super, around 11:30, 11:40, must be. She went and, you think I am the cause of this? You think because of me this has happened? That's all. Took the child, snatched the child with the hot sun, started walking. I am not going. Poor fellow started running behind, didn't happen, took the start the car, was literally chasing her, because almost it became 1:30. This fellow, no call, nothing. I try to call, no repairing, taking the call or recalling back. I was into panic. What happened? What happened? I said, okay, forget. So I had my lunch, no problem. Then evening call came. So I said, one of the worst thing I had in my life today. I said, what happened? Are you okay? Everything? Said, please don't ask me. Then he explained. She said she was going in the hot sun, and I was starting the car and going little bit, coming back. If I always in the car, it's back. So I'll go out and stop the car and run behind her for 1 kilometer. Again go back, again start the car and go behind. I said, what is the mistake? Mistake is one word it came out. That my life is exactly like this. I said, we stupid. You should be careful while talking something, okay? Never ever make this mistake, okay? Now I understood. I'll never do this mistake. Joke apart. So, life really, all this thing is nothing but the play of this ahankara. And ahankara can, because I have not looked at the verse, so that's why I don't want to get into. The reason is why, because I am going superficially, that's why. So ahankara plays its own role differently in different times. And it's very difficult to catch. It's exactly like we have beautiful, in this Vada Rakta Bija, there was one demon called Rakta Bija. Interestingly, wherever a small drop of water will fall, drop of Rakta means blood will fall, again from that small drop, another Rakta Bija, another demon will be born. It's a beautiful concept. That is exactly the job of the ahankara. So wherever a small, portion of ahankara goes, that also grows another jungle. You understand? Jungle of ahankara. And this ahankara only to be handled by me, by myself, not anybody. That's why we say very carefully that to manage one's own ahankara, one has to be on one's own toes. That's why in Kathopanishad it was said, Kurasya dhara nishidat duratteya. Life is like exactly walking on the razor's edge. You cannot take yourself for granted any moment. Because the moment you start taking yourself for granted, whether you like it or not, your ahankara slowly will take over. Try to see this part. More of it, I'm sorry, we'll see tomorrow. पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।